सर्वेभ्यो नमस्कारः। सिद्धान्तकौमुद्याः हलन्त पुल्लिङ्ग प्रकरणे 12 पाठः। डिसेम्बर् मासस्य 12 दिनाङ्कः। येनाक्षरसमां नायम् अधिगम्य महेश्वरात् कृत्स्नं व्याकरणं प्रोक्तं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः। वाक्यकारं वररुचिं भाष्यकारं पतञ्जलिं पाणिनिं सूत्रकारं च प्रणतोऽस्मि मुनित्रयं नमस्कृत्य तदुक्तिः परिभाव्य च वैयाकरणसिद्धान्तकौमुदीयं विरच्यते। अष्टाध्यायी पारं. If one of you could just volunteer and read the Ashtadhyayi, first pada, then we can go ahead. Anybody? Okay, Ravi Chandanji, so if you can just read it.
अत माहेश्वराणि सूत्राणि आई उन रलिक ए ओंग आई औच हायवरट लन यमग ननम झबै घड़दश जब घड़दश ख फ छ ठ थ छठ तव खपै शससर हल इति माहेश्वराणि सूत्राणि। अथ प्रथमाध्यायः प्रथमः पादः वृद्धिरादेच अदें गुणः इको गुण वृद्धि न धातु लोप आर्ध धातु के क्निति च धी धी वे वीटाम हलो ननंतरा संयोगः मुखा मुखनासिका वचनोनुनासिकः तुल्यास्य प्रयत्नं सवर्णं नाज्झलौ ईदूते द्विवचनं प्रगृह्यम् अद सोमात् शे निपात एका जनांग ओत् संबुद्धौ शाकल्यस्येतावनार्षेम् उयः उ ईदूतौ च सत्यम् अर्थे धार्धा घुदाप् आद्यन्तवदे कस्मिन् अतरप्तमपोगः अबहुघनवटु अडति संख्या श्नान्ता षट् ढति च तक्तवतु निष्ठा सर्वाधीनि सर्वनामानि विभाषातिक समासे बहुव्रीहौ न बहुव्रीहौ तृतीया समासे द्वन्द्वे च विभाषाजसि प्रथमचरमतयाल्पार्ति कतिपयनेमाश्च पूर्वपरावर दक्षिणोत्तरापराधराणि व्यवस्थायामसंज्ञायाम् स्वमज्ञाताधनाख्यायाम् अन्तरं स्वमज्ञातिधनाख्यायाम् अन्तरं बहिर्योगोपसंज्ञानयोः स्वरादिनिपातमव्ययम् तद्धितश्च सर्वविभक्तिः कृन्मे जन्तः त्वा तो सुन का सुनः अव्ययी भावश्च शी सर्वनामस्थानं सुरनपुंसकस्य न वेति विभाषा यज्ञन संप्रसारणम् आद्यन्तौ टकितौ मितचोन्त्यात् परः ये च इघ्रस्वो देशे षष्टिस्थाने योग स्थानेन्तरतमः पुरन् रपरः अलोन्त्यस्य निच्च आदेः परस्य अनेकाल्शित् सर्वस्य स्थानिपदादेशो अनल्विधौ अचः परस्मिन् पूर्वविधौ न पदान्ता दुर्वचनवरेयलोपस्वर सवर्णानुस्वार दीर्घजश्चर विदिषु द्विर्वचने ची अदर्शनं लोपः प्रत्ययस्लुप्श्लु लुपः प्रत्ययलोपो प्रत्ययलक्षणं न लुमताङ्गस्य प्रत्ययलोपे न लुमताङ्गस्य अचोन्त्यादिति अलोन्त्यात् पूर्व उपधा तस्मिन् इति निर्दिष्टे पूर्वस्य तस्मादित्युत्तरस्य स्वं रूपं शब्दस्य शब्दसंज्ञाम् अनुदित सवर्णस्य च प्रत्ययः तपरस्तत्कालस्य आदिरन्त्येन सहेते येन विधिस्तदन्तस्य वृद्धिर्यश्चामादिस्तद्वृद्धम् चिदादीनि च
वृद्धिर्यस्याचामादिः तद्वृद्धम्
वृद्धिर्यश्चामादिः तद्वृद्धम्
वृद्धिर्यस्य अचामादिः
वृद्धिर्यस्य अजामादिः तद्वृद्धम् वृद्धिर्यस्य अजामादिस्तद्वृद्धम् त्यदादीनि च येङ् प्राचां देशे इति प्रथमाध्यायस्य प्रथमः पादः. I don't have the last shlokam to say the connection of all the things.
वृद्धिराद्यन्तवत्
वृद्धिराद्यन्तवत्
अव्ययी भावः
अव्ययी भावः
प्रत्ययस्य लुक्
प्रत्ययस्य लुक्
15
15
युष्मस्मत् शब्दयोः प्रक्रिया अधीयते हलन्त प्रकरणे दकारान्त पुल्लिङ्गेषु. So we finished with the actual prakriya of Yushmad and Asmat and also saw how Yushmad and Asmat behave in a samasa. Samase kim bhavati? यानि कार्याणि उक्तानि वस्तुतः आङ्गत्वात् सर्वेषु तदन्तेषु प्रधानेषु गौणेषु च कार्याणां प्रवृत्तिः भवेत्, किन्तु सूत्रद्वयस्य प्रवृत्तिविषये विशेषतया ज्ञातव्यम्. यवावौ द्विवचने तथा त्वमावेकवचने तत्र किं भवति? एकवचने द्विवचने इत्यस्य द्विवचनप्रत्यये एकवचनप्रत्यये इत्यर्थः न क्रियते. यत्र युष्मदस्मद्भ्याम् एकत्वम् उच्यते तदेकवचनम्, यत्र ताभ्यां द्वित्वम् उच्यते तद्द्विवचनम्. एतादृश अर्थकरणेन कुत्र कुत्र किं भवति इति दृष्टम्. इदानीं कदाचित् युष्मदस्मत् शब्दयोः रूपान्तरमपि दृश्यते. We see a second form in some cases. द्वितीया, चतुर्थी and षष्ठी. There is 3 vibhaktis where you have a second form. Say maam ma, avam nau, asman vaha, asman naha, evameva mahyam me avabhyam, vam asmabhyam naha. Sorry, maam me avabhyam nau asmabhyam naha. And again in Shashti, mama me avayohu nau asmakam naha. Okay. So to derive those forms, Dikshita starts with 3 adhikaras which precede that sutra. Tani sutrani yani युष्मदस्मत् शब्दयोः द्वितीयं रूपं साधयन्ति. तानि अष्टमाध्याये दृश्यन्ते. अष्टमाध्यायस्य प्रथमपादे तत्र आदौ अधिकारत्रयं प्रस्तूयते दीक्षितैः. पदस्य इति प्रथमः अधिकारः. अधिकारसूत्रम्, अतः स्वस्थाने अधिकारसूत्राणाम् अर्थकथनं न भवति. It does not carry any meaning of its own. It just tags on to the next sutras. So कियत् पर्यन्तम् अधिकारः इति पश्यामश्चेत् अपदान्तस्य मूर्धन्यः. We start with the Shatta Prakarana. Before Adesha Pratyayoho, Apadantasya Murdhanyah Ityanena Murdhanyadeshaha Shakaradeshaha Arabhyate Ashtamadhyayasya Trutiya Pade Panchapanchashattamam Idam Sutram. Tatah Prak Padasya Ityadhikaraha. So this is one of the bigger adhikaras of Ashtadhyayi. Padasya Ityeva Adhikaraha. Sarvani Yani Karyani Uchyante Padasya Iva Bhavanti Ityarthaha. So it starts with 8.1.16 and goes up till 8.3.55. पदात् इत्यपि अधिकारः पदस्य इत्युक्ते पदस्य स्थाने कार्याणि भवन्ति एवं पदात् इत्यधिकारः अग्रिमः कुत्सने च सुप्यगोत्रादौ इति अस्यैव पादस्य ऊनसप्ततितमं सूत्रं तत् सूत्रपर्यन्तम् अधिकारः. So it goes till the 69th sutra of the same pada. Padat parasya padasya. So you should have a pada. The karya is for a pada and it is for a pada which is preceded by a pada. Padat parasya panchami vibhaktihi tasmadityuttarasya. Padad uttarasya padasya karyani bhavanti. So the karya will happen when this particular pada is preceded by a pada. Which means it will not happen at the beginning of a vakya. यः अधिकारः अनुदात्तं सर्वम् अपादादौ इत्यधिकृत्य दीक्षितैः कौमुद्याम् एतत् त्रयमपि उक्त्वा इत्यधिकृत्य इति उक्तं त्रीण्यपि अधिकारसूत्राणि अयम् अधिकारः आपादसमाप्ति. So it goes till the end of the pada which is 8174 विभाषितं विशेषवचने इति सूत्रपर्यन्तम् अनुदात्तं सर्वम् अपादादौ इत्यधिकारः. Again, wherever you have anudatta in these cases, anudatta is being mandated, apadado bhavati. So it will be not at the beginning of a pada. Purvam tu padasya iti uktam, padat parasya iti uktam, apadado. Padasya prarambhe na bhavati karyam iti uchyate. Kim prayojanam sarvasyapi adhikarasya iti agre drishyate. Evam adhikaratrayam uktva. Okay. Yushmanasmado षष्ठी चतुर्थी द्वितीयास्थयोर वामनावौ. It is 8120, not 120. There is one extra one. So, विंशतितमं सूत्रम् अस्मिन् पादे युष्मनस्मदोः षष्ठी चतुर्थी द्वितीयास्थयोः वामनावौ. युष्मद् अस्मदोः षष्ठी चतुर्थी द्वितीयास्थयोः वाम नौ औ. वाम नौ इति पदस्य द्विवचने वामनावौ इति भवति. अधिकारत्रयं पदस्य पदात् अनुदात्तं सर्वोपादादौ इति. पदात् परयोः अपादादौ स्थितयोः अनयोः षष्ट्यादिविशिष्टयोः वाम नौ इति आदेशौ स्तः तौ च अनुदात्तौ. So all adhikaras are incorporated into the meaning. Padat parayoho. So there should be preceded by a pada. Apadadau sthitayoho. Padasya adau. So difference between there is a difference between pada and pada. Pada is a word. Suptingantam padam. Padaha nama shlokasya bhagaha. Shloka bhagaha padaha. Okay. Apadadau sthitayoho anayoho nama yushmad asmad shabdayoho. Shashthyadi vishishtayoho. अर्थात षष्ठी चतुर्थी द्वितीया. So when they are along with those, so the entire pada. So this is an adesha being told here is for the entire word. It is along with the vibhakti ishmad and asmad, along with these particular vibhaktis. For these vam now iti adesha staha. They are directly replaced by vam and now. It is not giving any prakriya for joining the prakriti pratyaya together. The final form whatever you had is replaced by vam or now. That is ishmat shabdasya vam iti adeshah, asmat shabdasya now iti adeshah. Tau cha anudattau. Anudattam sarvam apadadau ityatah anudattam ityapi anuvartate. Anudattaswaraha bhavati anayoh. Bahuvachanasya vasnasau. Iti agrimam sutram. Very simple. I mean, if you go by the Ashtadhyaya order, the deriving the meaning is okay. There's a question. Kimartham षष्ठी चतुर्थी द्वितीयास्थयोः इति उच्यते. किमर्थं द्वितीया चतुर्थी षष्ठी इति नोच्यते इति प्रश्नः. Dvanda samasa. The rule of Dvanda samasa always says alpach taram. So whichever is has a what you say lower number of letters will come first. That is one of the rules of Dvandva Samasa. So if you have Bhima and Arjuna, you always say Bhima Arjuna and not Arjuna Bhima, because Bhima has lesser number of letters and Arjuna has more. So Shashti always comes first. So there are rules in Dvandva Samasa about Purva Nipata, which word should come first and which word should come later. So by that rule, Shashti will come first. There are some times where you can vary, but that is the reason why Shashti comes first and not, he starts with Shashti and not Dvitiya. Dvandva Samasa. अपरः प्रश्नः अस्ति स्थ द्वितीयास्थयोः इति किमर्थम् I mean तद्विषये बालमनोरमायां किञ्चित् उच्यते. So the word dvitiyastha has been, or shashti chaturthi dvitiyastha has been interpreted as shashtyadi vishishtayohu. That is, when, so along with the vibhakti, along with shashti vibhakti pratyaya, along with chaturthi, and not when followed by shashti chaturthi dvitiya. So he gives why. I mean, why do you, it is not when followed by shashti vibhakti, chaturthi vibhakti or dvitiya vibhakti, it is when associated with. That is, the adesha is for the entire word. That is what he is meaning to say. Prakruteha adesha nasti. It is not an adesha for the prakriti. It is an adesha for the prakriti plus pratyaya. That is why that stha has been interpreted as shashtyadi vishishtayoho and not shashti vibhaktau parataha. That's all he says. Nothing very significant. Okay. Bahuvachanasya vasnasau. So what Panini does is, generally he says the adesha is vam and nau, but actually you see that that vam or nau is heard only in dvivachana. So now as an exception he gives the adeshas in other vibhaktis. Bahuvachanasya vasnasau. Sarvam asti adhikaratrayam tathaiva yushmanasmido shashti chaturthi dvitiyasthayoh iti anuvartate. Ukta vidhayoh anayoh. So Dikshita does not repeat what he said just now. Arthat padat parayoh apadadau sthitayoh shashti chaturthi dvitiyasthayoh sarvam, everything is same as in the previous case except that shashtyadi bahuvachanantayoh. In this case it applies for the bahuvachananta forms. You have vas and nas as the adesha. So you have vas and nas rutve visarge vaha naha iti rupam in all three vibhaktis. So dvitiya vibhaktau kim bhavati? Yuvam vam, yuvabhyam vam, yuvayohu vam, evam bahuvachane yushman vaha, युष्मभ्यं वह युष्माकं वह. एवं अस्मत् शब्दविषये नौ and नः you have it. एकवचने किं भवति? वाम नावोर अपवादः. So this is an exception to vam and nau, obviously. ते मया एकवचनस्य. ते मयौ एकवचनस्य. ते मे अनयोः द्विवचने ते मयौ इति भवति. ते मयौ एकवचनस्य. Again the same adhikaras. उक्तविधयोः अनयोः षष्ठी चतुर्थी एकवचनान्तयोः ते मे एतौ स्तः. So in षष्ठी and chaturthi ekavachana, the word is replaced by te and me. So you have mahyam me and mama me and tubhyam te tavate. Now why does he say shashti and chaturthi only? Why not dvitiya? Dvitiya ityapi anuvartate. But the next sutra again is an exception to this. So taking into consideration the following exception, he says shashti chaturthi ekavachanantayoh. Okay. So in the sutra there is nothing to prevent it for dvitiya in this sutra, but since the next sutra gives a different adesha for dvitiya, yes, in shashti and chaturthi ekavachane te me iti adesho bhavatah tvamau dvitiyayaha. सो तेमयोम् एकवचनस्य इत्यतः एकवचनस्य इति अनुवर्तते. सो द्वितीयायाः एकवचनस्य त्वा मा इति आदेशौ भवतः. द्वितीयैकवचनान्तयोः त्वा मा एतौ स्तः. So you have 4 sutras in all. विश्वनस्मदो षष्ठी चतुर्थी द्वितीयास्थयोर्वाम्नावौ बहुवचनस्य वस्नसौ तेमयाम् एकवचनस्य त्वामौ द्वितीयायाः. So together you end up with the forms. So द्वितीया विभक्तौ त्वाम त्वा युवां वाम युष्मान् वः तुभ्यं ते इवाभ्यां वाम युष्मभ्यं वः तवते इवयोः वाम युष्माकं वः. Similarly for asmat shabda you will have मां मा आवाम नौ अस्मान् नः मह्यं मे आवाभ्यां नौ अस्मभ्यं नः मम मे आवयोः नौ अस्माकं नः. Okay. So he gives an example. एतेषां सूत्राणां सर्वेषाम् आहत्य उदाहरणानि दीयन्ते. Okay, so Ravichandranji says it is not that it is easier to go the other way with apavada and utsarga. That is the rule. The rule is you first go to apavada and then go to utsarga. Always apavada vishayam tyaktva utsargasya artha. You cannot interpret an apavada, an utsarga sutra without knowing the apavadas. Always the case is you have to understand the apavada first. Apavada comes first and then the utsarga. Panini's krama might tell utsarga first and then the apavada. But that is why Panini sutras are not studied sutra by sutra. They are studied prakarana by prakarana. You have to take this particular prakarana and see what it tells as a whole. That is, you cannot, if you just take Ishvarasmadoho Shashti Chaturthi Dvitiyastayoho Vamnavo and stop there, you'll get wrong. Everything goes wrong because you have not seen the next one. You have to take this whole chunk and then in that chunk you have to decide which is the utsarga apavada, understand the apavada and then see what the utsarga means and then apply. Always that is Panini's construction, interpretation of that is always that. Apavada vishayam parikalpyaiva utsargasya artha kriyate. It has to be that way because otherwise it is wrong, plain wrong. Shrishastvavatu mapiha datta temepi sharmasaha. But of course it is there. Why does Dikshitar not give, Ashtadhyayi Krama is fine. Why does he not give an Apavada Sutra first and then Utsarga Sutra? It is also there. If you give, say, Temaya Ekavachanasya first, you'll have to explain all the Anuvritti. Without the Anuvritti, it is not clear what the Apavada means. So that is why he goes in that particular order. But when understanding it, it has to be the whole thing together. Okay. So Shloka Dvaye Sarvesham Etesham Udaharanam Diyate Shishastvavatu Mapiha Datta Temepi Shatmasaha Swami Temepi Saharihi Patu Vamapi Nau Vibhuhu Sukham Vamnau Dadat Trishaha Patir Vamapi Nau Harihi Sovyadvona Shivam Vono Dadyat Sevyotra Vassanaha. I don't know who created this shloka, but it's, obviously it is meant to show the prayoga of these. It is well done. Shrishaha tva avatu. Tvam tva. So Ditiya Vibhakti, Ishvar Shabdasya Ditiya Vibhaktau. Shrishaha tva avatu. So you can see it is Padat Parayoho. Adau Shrishaha iti Padamasti. Padat Parayoho. Apadadau Sthitayoho. And this tva, this Yushmad is not at the end of not at the beginning of a pada. And Ditiya, so you have the Adesha as Tva. Shrishaha Tva Avatu Ma Api. Mam Api ityarthe. Mam ityasya sthane Ma ityadeshaha. Ma Api. Again you have Padat Parasya Apadadau Sthitasya Ditiya Sthasya Ishmat Shabdasya Ma Adeshaha. Shrishaha Tva Avatu Ma Api Iha. So let Shrisha, that is Lord Vishnu, protect you. Let him protect me. Ditiya Vibhakti. दत्ता ते मेऽपि शर्म सः सः te tubhyam me mahyam. For both of us, sharma datta, let him give sukham. Sharma shata sukhani cha. Sharma nama sukham dadatu ityarthaha. So chaturthi te me, you have chaturthi ekavachana. Swami te me api saharihi. Sahaharihi te tava me mama api swami. So he is the master for you and me. Shashti vibhakte hai ekavachanasya udaharan. Okay. So in the first three padas you have examples for both Yushmad and Asmad in that order, Dvitiya, Chaturthi and Shashti. Okay. Next, Patu Vam api nau vibhuhu. Vam is both both of you and both of us. So let him protect you both and we both. So he is now going on to Dvivachana. Vam is Yuvam and Nau is Avam. Sukham Vam Nau Dadat Vishaha. Again here Vam Nau are in Chaturthi. So for both of you and for both of us, Sukham Dadatu. Ishaha Pattir Vam api Nau Harihi. Again Harihi, he is our master of both of us. Vam is Avayoho, Kshamyatam, Yuvayoho, and Nau is Avayoho. So that ends Dvivachana. Ekavachanam, Dvivachanam. Sovyad vo naha. Saha avyat. Again let him protect. So you see, again he is using different words for the same meaning. All of them mean the same. Saha avyat. Let him protect. Vo naha. Vaha naha. All of you and all of us. Yushman asman ityarthe vaha naha iti prayogaha. Shivam vo no dadyat. Vaha Yushmabhyam naha asmabhyancha. Shivam. Shivam again means mangalam. Let him give whatever is good for you and for us. Sevyotra vaha sa naha. So vaha naha cha sevyaha. He is to be served by us and by you. So asmakam, ishmakam, sevyaha. So you have examples of all forms together. And Vichandanji says it was written by Ramachandracharya. I don't know who that is, but tasya karika iti bhaimi vyakhyayam dattam iti uchyate. इदानीं दलकृत्यम् आरभ्यते सूत्राणां पदात् परयोः किम् पदात् इत्यधिकारः किमर्थः इति चेत् वाक्यादौ मा भूत् वाक्यस्य आदौ युष्मत् शब्दः अस्मत् शब्दः वा अस्ति चेत् तत्र न भवति आदेशः त्वां पातु मां पातु. So if you are starting the sentence with Yushmad and Asmad, you cannot use this Adesha forms. You cannot say Tva Patu. It has to be Tvam Patu and Mam Patu. Adeshaha na bhavati. Apadadau kim? Anudattam sarvam apadadau ityataha apadadau iti anuvartate kimartham. Padasya adau, at the beginning of a shloka pada, if you have Yushmad or Asmad, tatrapi adeshaha na bhavati. Vedai rasheshai samvedyo asman krishnaha sarvada avatu. Vedai rasheshai samvedyaha is one pada. Asman krishna sarvada avatu is the other pada. Now at the beginning of the pada, second pada, you have Asman. So you will not have Naha as the Adesha, Asman ityeva bhavati. Sthagrahanat shruyamana vibhaktikayoreva. So say Shashti, Chaturthi, Dvitiya, Sthayoho. So that is when they are with, along with Shashti, Chaturthi and Dvitiya vibhakti. Which means shruyamana vibhakti. That vibhakti pratyaya should be heard. This, when is it not heard? When it is in a samasa. So samase kim bhavati? Iti yushmat putro braviti. Ityasti yushmakam putraha, yushmat putraha. So you have yushmat, the word yushmat is there. Kintu vibhakti hi na shruyate. Samase sarvada supam dhatu pratipadikayo, supo dhatu pratipadikayoho iti sutrena. Supam luk bhavati. Pratyaya lakshanena pratyaya asti iti to asti. So the pratyaya is deleted Vai pratyaya lakshana we still think as the pratyaya to be there. It is still shashtyanta. Yushmad is still shashtyanta. Consider it as shashtyanta. Kintu atra adeshaha na bhavet. Tadartham shruyamana vibhaktikayoho. So where the vibhakti is heard, that is the independent word, and you hear the vibhakti as asmakam. Shashti vibhakti hi shruyate tatraiva adeshaha bhavati. Samase adeshaha na bhavati. Iti yushmat putro braviti. Iti asmat putro braviti. You can see all other conditions are satisfied. Padat paratvam asti, apadadau santi sarvam asti, tathapi vibhaktihi na shruyate. Shashti vibhaktihi ityartah atra adeshaha na bhavati. समानवाक्ये निघात युष्मद् अस्मदादेशः वक्तव्याः इति वार्तिकम्. So all this nighata is a paryapada for anudatta. So wherever an anudatta swara is being mandated, yushmad asmad adeshaha tathaiva yushmad shabdasya adeshaha asmad shabdasya adeshaha vamnau ityadayah adeshaha samana vakye vaktavyaha iti vartikam. So they will happen only within a single sentence. That is when the previous padat parayoho apadadav sthitayoho iti sarvam uchyate. So when the previous word and this particular word, both of them are part of the same sentence, you will get the adesha. Bhinneshu vakyeshu bhavanti ched adeshaha na bhavati iti vartikakarena uchyate. Ekam vakyam nama kim iti prashnaha. Samana vakye iti uchyate. Vakyam nama kim chete ekating vakyam iti vartikakarasya vachanam. Ekating vakyam. This is one of the accepted definitions of vakya for vyakaranas. According to Tarka they say padasamoho vakyam or arthavatam padanam samoha vakyam. They just say a group of words is a vakya. But vyakarana mate tingantam vina vakyam na bhavati. There is no sentence without a tinganta. Tingantam bhavedeva. Ekating. Ekam tingantam bhavati chedeva vakyam bhavati. Ateva kimapi nasti chedapi asti bhavati ityadi adhyahriyate. Okay. So if I just say Ramaha, it means Ramaha asti. Tadapi vakyam iti vayam vadamaha. Ekating vakyam iti vayyakarana lakshanam. Tena ihana odanam pacha tava bhavishyati. Okay, so this the second one is not a complete sentence. Tava kim bhavishyati iti che kimapi asti. Now odanam pacha ityasti tat ekam vakyam. Since we say ekating vakyam, odanam pacha iti ekam vakyam, tava bhavishyati iti aparam vakyam. Kim bhavishyati iti prakaranashah jnatavyam athava you have to fill it. Okay. Now, here you can say when you are not breaking it, pacha iti padam asti, padat parasya yushman shabdasya adeshaha bhavati va. So this is preceded by a pada and it is not at the end of a pada. So technically the definition is satisfied. Kintu samana vakye eva adeshaha vaktavyaha, which means the preceding word should also belong to the same sentence. Iti uchyate. Ataha atra odanam pacha iti bhinnam vakyam tava bhavishyati iti bhinnam vakyam. So even though you put it together, this is a separate vakya. So there is no pada in this sentence. Tava bhavishyati iti vakye tava ityasmat pra kimapi padam nasti ityatah atra adeshaha na bhavati. How do we know it is a different sentence? Is because of the tinganta. Odanam pacha, the vakya ends there. The one with pacha, ekating, tingantena sahitam, whatever is associated with that tinganta is one vakya. Odanam pacha is a vakya by itself. And tava bhavishyati is another vakya. It has another thing associated with this particular vakya. They are two separate vakyas. You have two separate tingantas. And nothing to, like say, samuchaya of that tinganta. Ihatu syadeva shalinante odanam dasyami. Te shalinam odanam dasyami. So this is just one sentence because there is only one tinganta. Dasyami iti ekameva tingantam. Etat purnam ekam vakyam. Te tubhyam shalinam odanam dasyami. I'll give odana of shali. Shali is wheat. Okay, so cooked wheat is shalinam odanam dasyami. So atra padam asti samana vakyam. युष्मत् शब्दात् प्राक् यत् पदमस्ति तत्तु तस्मिन्नेव वाक्ये अस्ति इत्यतः तत्र आदेशः भवति। ओदनं पच तव भविष्यति इत्यत्र भिन्नं वाक्यम् इत्यतः आदेशः न भवति। अत एव समानवाक्ये निघात युष्मदस्मदादेशः वक्तव्याः इति वार्तिकम्। अपरमपि वार्तिकं विद्यते। एते वां नामादयः आदेशाः अनन्वादेशे वा वक्तव्याः। अन्वादेशे तु नित्यं स्युः। रिमेम्बर् अन्वादेश किञ्चित् कार्यं विधातुम् उपात्तस्य कार्यान्तरं बोधयितुं पुनरुपादानम् अन्वादेशः। You already take up something or you use a word to indicate something for some reason and you use it again for a different reason. एकं कार्यं विधातुम् उपात्तस्य कार्यान्तरं बोधयितुं पुनः उपादानम्। सः आगतः तं पश्य इति उच्यते। आदौ सः इति you are using the word tat for telling that he came. Tam pashya is punarupadana. You are taking the word again for a different reason, to ask the person to see. Okay. So tad anvadeshah iti uchyate. So anvadeshe vam namadayah adeshah nityam syuhu. So if it is an anvadesha, the adesha is nitya. Ananvadeshe vikalpena bhavanti. So if it is not anvadesha, this the whole thing is optional. Dhata te bhaktosti, dhata tava bhaktosti iti va. So if it is just one sentence, there is only one thing you are saying. Dhata te bhaktaha. The dhata, this Brahma, is your devotee. Athava dhata tava bhaktaha. So either way is correct because this is not anvadesha. But tasmai te namaha ityeva. So this actually, to take it, there is a purva vakya. Previously it was said yognir havyavatya indro vajrabahu ityadina. He tells something and then he says tasmai te namaha. So salutations to you who are such. Okay. This is anvadesha. Anvadeshe tasmai tubhyam namaha iti na bhavati. Tasmai te namaha ityeva bhavati. Okay. So there, in Anvadesha, the Adesha is compulsory, whereas if it is a first usage of Yushmad or Asmad, Tadanim Vikalpena Adesha Bhavati. There's a question, is the rule different for prose and shloka? Which rule? I mean the Adesha? No. It is the same.
Like there we say apadau. Here there's no pada, right? There we say that you cannot be at the beginning. If there is no pada,
then you need not worry. If there is pada, then it should not be at the beginning of a pada. That's all.
So I thought you take the sentence of that pada then. Nothing.
No.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. So that is about the Adesha of Yushmad and Asmad being replaced by Vam and Now. So about the particular sutras, but there are still further rules. Kutra adeshaha bhavanti, kutra na bhavanti. Iti punaha uchyate. Nachava haha iva yukte. Iti sutram. So it comes in the same prakarana. So initially he told the adeshas. Adesha mukta kutra adeshaha na bhavati ityapi paninina uchyate kvachite. Na cha va ha aha eva yukte. Eter yukte. So when associated with these 5 words, and associated with cha, va, ha, aha and eva, na, adeshaha na bhavanti. Chadi panchaka yoge, naite adeshaha syuhu. When these 5 are there, you will not have the adesha. Cha, iti samuchaye. You know the meaning, all these are avyayas. Chakaraha samuchaye, conjugation to join 2 things. Va, iti vikalpe. Va is optional. Ha iti adbhute. Ha is an exclamation of surprise. Aha iti khede. Aha is something like alas, an exclamation of sadness. Eva iti avadharane. Eva is exclusivity to indicate avadharana. Bhaved eva, sa eva, ityadi. So when these five are used, Harihi tvam mam cha rakshatu. Let him protect you and me. Chakarasya prayogah asti. Ataha chakarasya prayoge युष्मदस्मत् शब्दाभ्याम सह चकारस्य प्रयोगे त्वा मा इति आदेशः न भवति. So even though the conditions are satisfied, पदात् परस्य अपादादौ स्थितस्य सर्वम् अस्ति तथापि न भवति. So it has to be त्वां मां च रक्षतु. कथं त्वां मां वा न रक्षेत्? How will he not protect you or me? त्वां मां वा. So you or me. So the words are associated with va, and therefore there is no adesha. Yuktagrahanat sakshad yoge ayam nishedhaha. And there is one more point. He says sakshad yoge, which is when yushmad and asmad are directly associated with chakara or va or aha, anything. Tadaiva adeshasya nishedhaha. Parampara sambandhe to adeshah syadeva. What does he mean by parampara sambandha? Haro harishcha me swami. Here you have a chakara. Haraha harihi cha me swami. But the chakara is associated with what? It is associated with hara and hari. It is used for the samuchaya, for conjugation of hara and hari. It is not used directly with me. Asmat shabdasya chakarena saha sakshat sambandha nasti. अत्र तु त्वां मां च रक्षतु इत्यत्र त्वां माम् इत्यनयोः समुच्चयार्थं चकारः उपयुक्तः. अयं साक्षात् सम्बन्धः. अत्र तु परम्परया अर्थात् अस्ति, चकारेण सह सम्बन्धः वाक्ये अस्ति, किन्तु साक्षात् अस्मत् शब्दस्य चकारेण सह योगः नास्ति. It is not directly associated with chakara. Therefore अत्र आदेशः श्रूयते. मे स्वामी इति अस्मत् शब्दस्य आदेशः कृतः. यत्र साक्षात् योगः चकारेण सह युष्मदस्मदोः साक्षात् योगः अस्ति तत्रैव आदेशस्य निषेधः. पश्यार्थैश्च अनालोचने. परत्रयमस्ति. पश्यार्थैः च अनालोचने. न च वाहाः इव युक्ते इत्यतः न इति अनुवर्तते. So analochane pashyarthaiश्च न आदेशाः न भवन्ति. अचाक्षुषज्ञानार्थैः धातुभिः योगे एते आदेशाः न स्युः. अत्र पश्यार्थैः इत्यस्य ज्ञानार्थैः इत्यर्थः कल्पितः. So pashya means to see, but in general the Vyakhana says you have to take ज्ञानार्थकैः, to know इत्यर्थकैः धातुभिः योगे आदेशाः न भवन्ति. So when associated with dhatus which indicate knowing, adeshaah na bhavanti. Analochane, alochanam nama to see. Chakshusam api jnanam. Jnanam can be of different kinds. It can be chakshusha jnana, it can be shravana jnana, etc. So chakshusha jnana, achakshusha jnanarthaihi analochane ityasya. So jnanarthaka dhatus which do not indicate direct vision or seeing, तादृश विषये आदेशाः न भवन्ति. चाक्षुषज्ञान विषये भवन्ति इत्यर्थः. See examples, it is easy. चेतसा त्वां समीक्षते. He knows you through his mind. चेतसा हृदयेन त्वां समीक्षते. So ईक्षते it means to see, but अत्र समीक्षते इत्यत्र he thinks upon you अथवा he knows you इत्यर्थः. ज्ञानार्थकः धातुः. चाक्षुषं ज्ञानं किमपि नास्ति. It is not seeing through the eyes. अतएव चेतसा इति उच्यते. So चेतसा त्वां समीक्षते. समीक्षते इति ज्ञानार्थकः धातुः. तेन योगे त्वाम् इत्येव भवति, आदेशः न भवति. परम्परा सम्बन्धेपि अयं निषेधः. Unlike the previous case, in नचवाहाः इव युक्ते, you said when it is directly associated, only then you have adesha. अत्र तु तथा नास्ति. भक्तः तव रूपं ध्यायति. Now ध्यायति इति he meditates upon इति ज्ञानार्थकः धातुः. ध्येय चिन्तायां he thinks of you ज्ञानार्थकः. ध्यायति इत्यस्य साक्षात् सम्बन्धः कुत्र भवति? रूपे भवति. रूपं ध्यायति. Kim dhyayati ityukte rupam dhyayati. So the direct association is between karaka and kriya, and the karaka there is rupa. Tava ityasya dhyayati ityasya cha sakshat sambandhah nasti. Tava is not directly associated with dhyayati. Tava rupam dhyayati. Tava ityasya rupena sah sambandhah, rupasya dhyanena sambandhah. So it is a parampara sambandha between yushmad and dhyana, the kriya. Tathapi nishedhah bhavati. Tava rupam ityeva bhavet, te rupam iti na bhavati. Parampara sambandhepi ayam nishedhah. Alochane tu. Alochanam means to see. Sakshat chakshusha jnana vishaye bhaktastva pashyati chakshusha. Bhaktaha chakshusha tva pashyati. He sees you through his eyes. Sakshat netrabhyam yada darshanam uchyate tada adeshah bhavati. Tva pashyati iti adeshah drishyate. So analochane achakshusha jnanarthaihi dhatubhiryoge adeshah na bhavanti. Chadi panchakayoge chava ha aha eva ityetayiryoge adeshah na bhavati. Achakshusha jnanarthaihi dhatubhiryogepi adeshah na bhavanti. Okay, so there is still sapurvaya prathamaya vibhasha iti agrimam sutram. It still continues with this. There are a few more sutras which deal with this adesha. When will this adesha happen? When will it not happen? We'll see that in the next class. Any questions?
So when we write a prose, do we remember all these things and write it?
Well, it's a question we should actually, but I mean, for us it's, I don't know, we don't, at least I don't. Till I mean, even when I studied it, it's not possible, as in, it does not come naturally to us. But I think when we study the kavyas or when we see Shishta Prayogas, they follow it because they use the first form somewhere, they use the second form somewhere. We should actually analyze and see if they have actually followed it, and we should, as Vyakaranas at least we should, but do we, if it is the question? No, probably not.
Just a thought, but because it is too complicated to remember exactly, when you start writing.
I mean, I used to wonder, do they actually follow it? I found a few cases where they do. So for Panini to go into so much of trouble into this, it seems weird initially, but I mean, there's too many rules around this particular, should we use this form or that form? But I don't know. It is what I mean. Grammar has some rules, but there has been, Prayoga has perhaps deviated from grammar at some point.
Looks like.
At least in today's thing, I'm sure nobody even thinks of it.
I think half the people don't know the rules.
I mean, they don't know that some rule exists, even if they don't know the particular rules. I'm sure that, I mean, there is not even a mention that there is such a rule for using the second form or the first form. I mean, always, I mean, I've already, always, there's this, when you're trying to teach children and you ask them, you give them the forms and try to get them to by heart the second form. Along with the second form, they always ask why. Where do we use this form? Because mostly we have ended up using only the generic form and not the adeshas.
Right.
Happens. येनाक्षर समाम्नायम् अधिगम्य महेश्वरात् कृत्स्नं व्याकरणं प्रोक्तं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः. वाक्यकारं वररुचिं भाष्यकारं पतञ्जलिं पाणिनिं सूत्रकारं च प्रणतोऽस्मि मुनित्रयम्. मुनित्रयं नमस्कृत्य तदुक्तिः परिभाव्य च वैयाकरणसिद्धान्तकौमुदीयं विरच्यते. Sorry, Meghadoot. Okay, there's one question. Shloka 63, okay. Third line starts with Yavah Kale. Okay, what is the question regarding that, Priya? 1 second. So, Just a second, I'm not able to see the full question. Yavah Kale, I have to know where is the, you have to know the full shloka actually. Because I don't know if Gyasya is the same sentence or there is a second Kriyapada in the, say, third line. I look at the shloka. So if Ishmad is associated with Gyasya, then maybe it's wrong on Kalidasa's part. But I have to look at the entire shloka to see where Gyasya is associated with. Okay. I look at that shloka and let you know. Okay.
The organizer has ended the session, and this call will be disconnected. Goodbye.